Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another exciting show for Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J 1999, part of the RSG crew and your host. And if you're wondering what is the Jedi Academy, well, that's where we bring the best and brightest YouTubers and game changers together on one exciting show and trickling a little madness that is RSG. I will be the RSG madness for you today. And the way it works is if you have a question, all you need to do is place your question into the chat. Make sure you put the word question in front of your statement. I'm by myself today, me, myself, and I am the only one scooping up questions and stuff. So if you don't do that, you're not going to get your question read. It's just the way it is. I can't do it all. That being said, go ahead and get your questions in, and we will get them scooped up, and we will go around the horn to each of our wonderful panelists, and we will answer your questions the best of our ability. So let's introduce who we've got today in the old stovepipe. We've got first the one and only Warrior from Warrior Presents.
Alrighty then.
Mm-hmm. You can tell he's had some coffee.
What's happening, you guys?
What's going on, Warrior? Why are we whispering? Why are we talking quiet?
I don't know. I'm having a good day.
Okay, good. Someone who doesn't whispers and doesn't keep secrets, all the way from Canada, T-Money G.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
That's right. She's sunshine, maple syrup, and coffee all rolled up in one.
It's truth. You speak the truth, Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about you.
Mm-hmm. I know these things. Also joining us is her partner in crime from Operation Metaverse, the one and only good old Maurice.
Hi.
Good old Maurice.
Hi.
Oh my god! And what's going on with you, buddy?
Not much.
Are you feeling better? You sound like you were a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, actually, I shed my sinus infection in the last 6 minutes, so I'm good to go.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. All right, moving on to the next person on our panel is serving our great nation in the United States Army is the one and only King Felix.
Good morning, everyone.
With child, and she has been screaming like a pterodactyl.
Well, actually, no. Mom came and took Hurricane to somewhere quiet.
Oh, okay, good.
Quiet place.
Okay, good. So it's sleepy.
So you won't hear the pterodactyl anymore.
Sleepy time for baby. All right, and I'm sure we may get some more along the way, but for now, that's our panelists. And so go ahead and get your questions in. I'm sure Dash will be around. Rondi, he always pops in whenever he wants. So, but we'll stick with what we got right now. And so go ahead and get your questions in. I was going to say what's been going on this week like I usually do, but we already know it's Revan. I'm not even gonna bring that up because I'm sure. Yeah, here we go. The questions about Revan are already coming in. So, oh man. So let's just get into it because we got questions about this already. Warrior Corey Delmeyer, question: will they push the event back? What do you think, Warrior?
Well, I have no idea. I actually have no idea. Carrie, who's in charge of the whole gamut, stated that she's got them working over the weekend, which would lead me to believe that would not be the case, that they would actually keep the date, because if they weren't going to keep the date, they would have no reason to work the weekends. They could just do it in the next coming weeks. So my guess is there will be no extension.
Yeah, and you've done a video of not pushing the event back, but extending the event, correct? Warrior?
Well, either pushing it back 2 weeks or extending it for 2 weeks, and the cause for it was twofold. I wanted a win-win situation where they saw no reason not to, and then it would benefit a greater majority of people, and if they did what I had asked, which is extending by 2 weeks or delaying by 2 weeks, the vast majority of people are still not going to get him. So exclusivity doesn't go away. Exclusivity will still be there, but there is a lot. I mean, I have 1,500 comments, and of them, probably 1,000 alone. That's like 67 to 70% of the comments are people that said I was going to spend because I do,
Yeah.
but I am far enough away. It's impossible to get him the first round. So why even spend any money this time? Because I got 6 months now to free to play farm him, and it seemed like a common thread. And I thought, well, these people want to spend money. They're looking for a reason to spend money in the game, and they're being demotivated by the company to spend money, which is just weird to me because I sell stuff for a living, that a company would find a way to demotivate their clientele base. Just weird. So I thought, if they have people willing to spend money that normally would, but actually were given a recent, decent window, something that is like a normal window, 2-3 weeks, something like that, then they would do their freak farm and they would spend their money, and it would be like, it would be like it always is. But to give it exactly a week prior, with the terms, I know it happened before, but those other characters were extremely easy to get, and so it just is what it is. And Thrawn is amazing, but it's just one of those things where I just felt like they could make a whole hell of a lot more money, and there would be a huge whale/dolphin population that traditionally would have gone in pretty heavily on a particular character, but won't because it's kind of a day late, dollar short for them. And so I just figured I would appeal to their financial sense. But of course, it's just it's up to them. They have the data analysts. I'm not a data analyst, so I'm not saying I know their books, obviously, but also people that say that what I'm saying is stupid. I'm not a data analyst and I can't figure it out. You guys are idiots in that sense, because the number one company in the world, Sam Walton's company, saved $3 billion one year because a line level employee getting paid $10 an hour made a comment to Sam Walton about how to increase efficiency. They'd never, not one data analyst, not one corporate shill, nobody in that company even thought the way that this employee did, and that employee saved $3 billion. So to think that great ideas can't come from outside or below is crazy talk. I do believe I'm right. And I do believe if they did the data, they would realize they're missing the boat on the vast majority of the spenders who would have. And the reason is people like me that are whales, we were already there. I was ready for Revan before Revan was announced. So was everybody in Team Instinct that wanted to be. So that money was already made. You know what I mean? So if Revan's supposed to be this huge cash cow, then it should be this huge cash cow. And everybody who was going to spend should be given the opportunity to spend, but they've got to have like a reasonable spending timetable. And the biggest push for 2 weeks is you announce it in 1 week. There's a lot of people that have to wait 2 weeks for a paycheck, and they maybe just missed their paycheck, and they need that extra paycheck to actually make it happen, which is crazy that we're like sucking their paychecks dry. But that's the thing, you want to give them that timetable that they have, that they can actually make it a feasible thing. 2 weeks is not unreasonable to assume you want to give them at least a wide enough swath to hit a paycheck.
Yeah, you make valid points. We'll see what they do. Damn it, Warrior, quit making sense. Let's see here. Next question, we're going to go to good old Maurice. I'm trying to catch where the next one is. Okay, this is from Jason Krolik. Question, what are your thoughts on the gear level requirements for Revan?
Well, I think they posted it was geared towards Gear 9, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been pretty busy this week. I haven't, but yeah, I mean that's reasonable.
That's
that's
about what they always do, right?
Yeah, it's kind of in tune with what they did with the previous two, and even the previous two Hero's Journey. There's really only a couple characters that you need at that level. Like, I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, if you guys don't have CLS, like your old Ben for that one phase can be, Gear 6. Like, it's about the cinematics, not the actual gameplay, right? So, I mean, I think Gear 9's fair. And these are good characters, guys. Like, all these characters are very good. Like, you can't, if you Gear 9 them, I mean, they're going to be used, not a Gear 9, but like, if you start to develop these characters, you're going to be very pleased with the end result, especially on Mission and Zalbar. Those characters are really, really good. Bastila, Jolie, all good characters. So Gear 9 won't you shouldn't be upset about Gear 9, really. You'll use these characters eventually.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see here. Next question will go to King Felix. Question from Camille Bohalski. Question: wouldn't it be better to introduce both light side and dark side Revan? At the final tier of Journey, you would decide whether you go light side or dark side, and you can unlock the other one next time around. What do you think, King Felix? Are you on mute? He who is King Felix.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
I'm sorry, my internet took a crap. What was the question?
Question: wouldn't it be from Camille Bohalski? Question: wouldn't it be better to introduce both light side and dark side Revan? Question mark. At the final tier of the journey, you would decide whether to go light side or dark side, and you could unlock the other one next time around.
See, I like that idea and premise, and I know we talked about this before on a different stream, as I think they should have done that, and you choose whether or not you went light side or dark side. But I wanted it to never be able to get the other one again. I wanted people to you have to pick right when you get it, right when you activate them, you have to pick light or dark, and you never get to go back, and you have to live with your decision forever. Like if you were a dark side heavy player, obviously you took the Darth Revan. If you were a light side heavy player, you could pick the Jedi Revan. And that's what I wanted, because I thought it would give some, then you'd always have some sort of difference between every player. They'd have a different Revan, or they'd have, well, I unlocked light side Revan, so this, and you might end up having guilds that were, hey, this is a light side Revan guild, or this is a dark side Revan guild. And I thought it would bring some real interesting diversity into the game, but they decided to go with a different move.
Yes, they did. And
what else? 73. I am a mean old man. Leave me alone.
Oh gosh. All right, next question for Team Money GA. Let's see here, from Red Ribbon Army. What a great name. Question: do you think CG is holding the Game Changers reveal for Revan because he stinks, or because they are rethinking his release?
Well, I'm not sure. Let me tell you, as a new Game Changer, I'm surprised at how late we get everything. So it's not a big surprise. I think like a lot of work goes into this game, and they've got lots of people testing these characters, and so sometimes there's changes at the last minute. I don't foresee Revan stinking. I mean, like, can you imagine? Just like after all this, what a waste of time and breath it would be for all of us who are concerned about getting him or not getting him. I mean, Revan, just out of, and I know that this isn't your Revan Ranger, but just out of respect for those people who are really excited about this tune and excited for the KOTOR tunes to come into this game, and for Revan in particular to come into this game, it would really be a slap in the face for him not to be a good tune. And all of our legendaries and our heroic tunes right now are fantastic. So.
Well, I mean,
they've line with that.
I think they put themselves in a really bad corner by the way they've handled all this and the way they were doing it. Is if Revan is crap, the people that spend a fortune for him are going to be pissed. However, if he's amazing and uber ponying people in arena, the other people are going to be pissed. So finding that balance, I don't know how they're going to do it. But we'll see what's going on when we see his kit. So, let's see here. Remy Vanette. Oh, very nice name. Let's see. Remy has a question. We'll go to Warrior, top of the list here. Question: in the Mythic military might, what is the trigger for Vader to go berserk, the locked buff? I found no answer on the internet, and it seems random. Even I know it's not.
Okay, so it's not a trick. It's when he gets under 100% health, he gets a special locked buff that basically makes him ridiculously strong. His armor, defense, all that kind of stuff goes through the roof. I don't know the exact stat on that particular buff. I just know that you have to have one of two philosophies. You have to either basically keep him in stun lock and deal with him at the end after you've cleared everybody else who's actually very easy to kill, and then you worry about Vader last, but you just keep him in stun lock, or you can ignore him through tenacity because he will not be able to apply his dots, and so you can take in characters such as Rex and Chirrut to make sure that you have that tenacity up, and then he's just a little tickly baby. So you just really have to decide whether you want to ignore him by stunning him or ignore him by tenacity up, or you can do what I did this morning, which was just a fun theory. I wanted to see if we could just brute force through that buff, and you use characters such as R2-D2 and his burn, because he does a great amount of damage when he takes a turn. And then also I used Han Solo with Chewie, the new Chewie, and OG Chewie does that basically built-in exposed damage, and he does all those assists. And so if you just go straight for Darth Vader, I did that this morning, and just ignore everybody else, you can go right through that even with his buff because of Chewie's additional attacks and the bonus damage. Pretty insane. The only problem is there's tanks to taunt, so it's kind of hard because as soon as you get him where you want him, then there's all this taunting and you got to cleanse. The good news is Chewie has an AoE Dispel. If you save it, you can use it and continue your onslaught against him.
There you go. Very nice. Next question for good old Maurice. See, this is from Isra Felks Gaming. Question: since Revan is a dual wielder, is it possible they could do something like give him 2 basics or Zeta on a basic? I don't think that's a crazy question.
Well, they always do something unique with these, like the legendary or the hero's journey characters. So I don't know if that's going to be it specifically. I mean, I can honestly say, I don't know really what Revan is going to do. So I mean, Revan. That would be pretty cool. A Zeta on a basic though opens up a whole new ball game, right? Then you're talking about characters getting 3-4 Zetas apiece. I wouldn't anticipate a Zeta on a basic, not yet anyway. But who knows? I mean, a lot of people are concerned Revan isn't gonna cut it in terms of what's needed for him. So I mean, you slap like a Zeta on his basic, where his basic one shot's a character. There you go. You got yourself a nice bargain. So
call it 10,000 cuts. Slaughter 10,000 people at once in the game.
Win.
Yes, basically. All right, next question is for King Felix. Well, okay, this is not a question, but we'll read it out and then we'll go to the next one for you, King Felix. Question from Helenex, more of a statement. Can we take a moment to thank the folks on today's panel, from Ranger to Warrior to Team Money, good old Maurice, King Felix. Every one of you is awesome. I thank you, and the community thanks you. Well, I think I can speak for everybody here saying thank you for the kind words, Helenex. We do what we can. All right. Next question for you, King Felix, is from Scooby. Question is there any HSTR teams for P1 that you can build towards to delay the farm for JTR?
The Jedi. You can use Jedi in Phase 1. They do pretty good. They're better in Phase 2. But if you're still working on JTR, you can use the Jedi. Thinking, I swear I just saw another team that popped up a couple days ago, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Anybody with Team Money is the raid guru, right? What do you got here? Canadian.
She's drinking maple syrup at the moment. You're on your own, buddy.
Okay. I mean, I don't even get in the raid. You know this. You see
ask the baby.
Yeah. The pterodactyl. No.
I'd actually say Jedi as well, and the reason is you're going to use the Jedi in Phase 2 probably, but it's a great filler for Phase 1, and you can also use Jedi in the heroic AAT, which is still a great thing. I know a lot of people have their solo teams now for that, but if you don't have JTR, there's probably a development curve you're behind on, which means that you're probably looking still to complete different phases of the HAAT, and if that's the case, Jedi will be the way to go. Plus, Jedi very likely is going to be meta, so because of that, you probably should start developing a Jedi team.
Hermit, you're a farm. All right. Now, Team Money, are you there? Or are you drinking maple syrup?
I just ran and got my maple syrup. Thank you. I'm back.
Just what I thought, addict. All right. For members, Tauntauns. For you, Team Money. Question: considering how many people won't get revenue the first time, do you think CG will hand out participation trophies for those who attempt any battle? That would probably make Reddit happier. I don't think that's going to make Reddit happier. Team Money, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that they have. I saw that somewhere. Let me just go. I've posted a couple of things in our Discord. Go back and make sure I've got it right here. Yeah, so CG Cap Gasp wrote yesterday afternoon. Each tier has some pretty good rewards aside from shards, so that if you can't get all the way to 7 stars, it doesn't feel like you got nothing. For example, tier 1 awards 15 salvage pieces of all Rancor gear. Tier 2 awards 15 salvage pieces of all tank gear. And there's other things like omegas and zetas in there. So they've, what was the last one that we had? And they just kept giving us gear. I was like, they just gave us like a full carb, and they just, I don't know. I always think that it's just, it's digital ideas that they're giving us. And if they give one of us a Carbonti and they give all of us a Carbonti, we're still on the same even playing field, right? Like they could give us all 10 Carbontis, and it's not like it would benefit. I mean, might not benefit people who have all of their characters geared, but I don't know. I think it's a way. It's no skin off their nose. Give us stuff. So I like when they give us stuff with the challenges. So yes, they are going to be giving awards out for participation prizes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next question back up top. To Warrior. Let's see. This is from DB. Question. Catching up on the stream, so maybe has already been answered, but why hasn't the Jedi Revan kit not come out? They released the new Chewie kit before the last release. It's hard to spin when there's no kit details.
That's true, exactly, and that's actually another valid reason why I asked for an extension. If you're going to, if I'm going to sell something to somebody, it's physically impossible in the real world to sell anything if you don't have a product to sell. If I say, I've got this amazing bed, and they're like, well, let me see it. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to buy it sight unseen. People just turn around, they laugh, and they walk off. For this product, we've got to kind of have a description of the product other than it's going to be a cool character. So that's another reason for the extension or if the event to be either delayed or extended in length, something, because people need to make an educated decision. I think that's fair, and we don't even have the reveal yet on the kit. Now, as far as what the kit is, the only thing I can go off of is what's out there in the interwebs, and what's in the interwebs is Jolly Roger, I guess he's a tester, announced that the kit wasn't up to snuff according to the testers, and so they went back to the drawing board according to him. And then in conjunction, Carrie went on Twitter and tweeted that she hates being the bad person, but she kept everybody at Capital Games over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. With that said, putting 2 and 2 together, it's pretty evident that the reason why us Game Changers don't have the kit for release is because they're not yet done with him. And so with that being the case, that leads credence to the fact that they probably won't be done until next week sometime, which is when the event is, and that's just insanity to think that they will give people 2 or 3, maybe 4 days to actually make a educated decision on their purchase, which again leads credence to why they should be making I think what happened is they got the cart before the horse. This happens a lot. I think they're working on making it better, and they have done, I think, in many aspects, gotten much better at bringing information out far in advance. For most of the time, this just happens to be one of those moments where we're having a flashback to the old days of when communication was poor and releases were done hastily. And I like I said, giving them credit, they've done very good over the last 6 months of not doing this, and actually us getting this stuff out far in advance. And then just sadly, this is one of those situations where it sounds like, from what I'm reading on Reddit and on other places like Twitter, it sounds like they're just not quite where they want to be. The good news, if I'm going to spin this positively, the good news is for anybody who's already investing and going, "Whoa, this is crap. I don't even know what I'm buying." I mean, crazy you're doing that, but okay. You at least have hope, because they're not done with the kit, meaning that whatever you're investing in, they care enough about your investment that they're at least willing to make sure that the investment's worth it at the end. So that makes people like me or whoever has spent feel better, because at least we know we're not going to buy a turd character and be upset because he's a turd character. So I'm really glad to see that they are at least putting that effort in to make sure he's going to be worth the investment that people are making.
All right. Next question for you, good old Marines. This is from our good friend Thoka. Question: Do you guys think General Kenobi should get a Zeta? He is the only legendary journey character without one now.
Could you repeat that one more time?
That's what I'm looking at it in myself. Question: Do you think that GK should get a Zeta? He is the only legendary journey character without one now. Like, General Kenobi's not a legendary character.
No, he's a raid character.
Yeah,
but I see what he's a special character, right? He does have, before I just start talking about
okay, so raid. Okay, yeah, he is the only reward character. Okay, well, let's say reward character.
Yeah, he does have a spot for a Zeta on his. Let's see, no, lead the charge is 8. His leader actually only has 7 skill levels on it, so there is room for a Zeta there. You would think so, and also his unique. There's only 7 skill levels, so maybe over time, and they have gone back and reworked characters. I mean, iconic characters such as Vader. Palpatine is actually a legendary character. They went back and reworked. Grandmaster Yoda too. So I think a rework is definitely feasible. And perhaps, with the introduction of Revan and the Jedi faction, hopefully getting, a facelift, maybe he will get a Zeta. Because week after week, you see him, he's starting to flirt with the meta report again, but he's basically fallen all the way off since the Sith meta started. The Sith have pretty much rendered him useless, in Arena. So it'd be nice to see, definitely.
All right. Next question for you, King Felix. Well, real quick question for me. Camille Bihowski, question for Ranger. What tunes will we need to unlock Dark Side Revan? HK-47 probably? No idea. I have no idea what they're going to do with HK-47, or if they're going to do a Dark Side journey, how they're going to do this. I mean, they have to introduce some more characters. That's too much up in the air. I'm completely lost with what they're trying to do with Revan, so I can't even begin to tell you. You'd think that HK-47 would be a character that you would need some aspect of Revan, but it's not the case. So, question for you, King Felix from Sith Gorilla. Question: They announced that each tier will have great rewards, so everyone gets something. Good move on their part?
I mean, extra rewards are always a good move. On CG's part, I remember, I think it was talking about getting extra stuff. Wasn't it the Django Fett marquee they added some gear to? I believe it was, which was awesome. I mean, stun cuff, stun gun, even the lower tiers, I think, had the Mark III holo projector. I mean, extra rewards is always going to be great, because you can play this game for 3 years and you're still going to have characters at gear 5. So you need all the gear you could get. Hoping we get some more mod slicing stuff as well, just because that is now what you need the most of, it seems like. But yeah, all extra gear, extra loot is always a good thing.
Agree. All right, next question for T Money GA. Corey Downmeyer wants to know, T Money, is it foolish to wail on a tune not knowing their kid?
Yes. Of course it is.
She's not on the fence on this one, folks. She's going right in for
I mean, it's there are people
Be
who
right
saw this coming. I think it's 44 days ago when Bastila was released in free to play, and they've been farming those nodes ever since. But you had to farm them so hard, like not just 50s and 100s, but like up to 200 refreshes and such, like for energy, in order to for it to be really cheap, right? For it not to cost a lot of crystals and packs and that sort of thing. So it's kind of this balance. It's a gamble, like I've been saying lately, this game is for gamblers. Like, look, it's like, let's go roll some bronziums, like it's a game of chance in a lot of ways, and so as is this experience with Revan. I mean, it's not difficult to. Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but there's a lot of little breadcrumbs leading us to where pointing us to Revan. Right, there was so many different ways for us to farm these hard nodes and cantina nodes, extra energy in the store, the 25 crystal refreshes, like the 8 sims. There was like all of these things kind of being like, farm the hard-nosed people, whether they be solo characters or KOTOR characters. And so I think there are, for me, I was like, with Rey, I was like, oh, here's the movie picture of Rey and the veterans. And so they came out and our guild started farming them like immediately. And so for this, that was the same thing. Like when the freaking mod challenge was announced, I was like, ugh, stop farming solo. Like, tricked us. Farm KOTOR, go. So I can't remember. What's the original question again?
Why is T Money talk about things that are not related to the question? Was the question?
Yeah, very, very possible.
No,
what's the question?
The question, I think you answered it. Is it foolish or well on a tune not knowing their kit?
Yeah. And so, but there's no other way to do it, right? Like, you have to be all in. However, if you're buying the crystal packs, if you're buying, stuff from the store, from the whale store, that stuff you can, very likely wait on. So, there's still time. I think for Chewie, the schedule was that they released it on the Saturday and Chewie dropped on Thursday. So it did give us, 5 days to go over his kit and take a look at the footage and that sort of thing. And it sounds like, Monday, Tuesday, I think is the kind of the sense. That I do not know that. That's from the posts that were up again. So, but it's always a risk. It's always a gamble. That's the game we're choosing to play, is a random gambling game. So indeed. All
right. Next question back up top. This one specifically for you, Warrior, from Camille Bihalski. Question for Warrior. Is it manageable to do the Mythic tier of military might without Chase? I've seen your video about this event.
Yes. So what Chase brings is an auto taunt, so Baze just obviously soaks all the damage up, and then Chirrut makes sure he never dies. Plus Chirrut has tenacity up, which you need. But you could use Rex instead of him, instead of Chirrut, and tenacity up for 3 turns is actually better. So really, really good. And then you could use a different tank. If you were going to use a tank, because of all the damage you have to soak up, my suggestion would be SRP, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, if you had him, because as long as you keep a buff on him, which is pretty easy with the buffs you can get from Han Solo and from Rex and stuff, you can keep that buff on SRP, even if he's at a lower gear, and even if he dies, he'll just keep coming back to life. And you could possibly just throw on some really amazing like protection mods just for the event, with like 4 different things of protection, because you don't need them fast. In fact, you just want them as tanky as possible. So yeah, there are lots of different like viable alternatives, but a tank and then Rex. And Rex is like the top 3 easiest characters to gear in the game. So and he's also easy to farm now. So everybody should have a 7-star, gear 10 Rex in there. If you don't, you should pause the video right now and go mark him as a favorite and go do that.
All right. Good old Maurice. Question from Camille. Huh?
He left.
What
He
happened?
actually left.
He did?
He had to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, fine. Let's see here. That just completely threw off my thing. So let me just do this and do that. And it places the... Okay. Who did... So good old Maurice says go bye-bye. So King Felix. All right. And I lost my question. See, Camille Buhowski question. I unlocked JTR yesterday and gave her 2 Zetas and got her to gear 8. At what gear level will she be viable in Heroic Sith and other parts of the game? What are the best team compositions with her?
Well, first of all, congratulations. JTR is a very, very good character in this game. So I prefer to use, in Phase 1, I prefer to use Visas Mar with that team. So you have BB-8 R2 and Scavenger Ray with Visas Mar. I know a lot of people like Resistance Trooper as well. But I have a Zeta on Visas Mar, and I think she works great with that team, heals a lot of people up. And then I have not ever really used Holdo or Rose, so I don't know if they can do anything. But Resistance Trooper or Visas Mar as the 5th, or a lot of people put in Trooper instead of Scavenger Ray for the Phase 1 team. But the great thing about JTR's lead is if you can really plug and play with the last 2 slots as long as you have your 2 droids with her. But, Gear 10, Gear 11, you can start using her. Obviously, you're going to want to put her to Gear 12 eventually, so just take her all the way up until you're done.
All right. Let's see here. Next question for Team Money. This is from Hellenix. Question: am I the only person who does not like the idea of participation trophies, tier 1 through 6 Revan rewards? I'm not getting Revan this time around, and I don't want CG's pity, just saying. I don't think you get them, period, if you don't have 7-star characters. So, I don't think that has to happen.
The tiers are star related. You only need 7-star for the last one, Ranger.
Oh, to get the whole kit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that...
So you can still do tier 1 through 5 with
5-star
star.
kit.
Well, no, it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, something like that. But you can do the only tier you can't do is the last tier if you don't have them 7-starred.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then. What team?
Is there a question?
Yeah.
I gotta say something really quick. That's I'm sorry, whoever this is, and I'm sure they're a great person, but that's a horrible attitude to have about this, because we've been complaining as a community about terrible rewards for every event since the dawn of this game, and we've been begging them to actually make it worth our while to even click on the event and do it. There are events that literally people just don't play because the rewards are 12 shards of characters they don't need, and they don't even care about the time investment to get that tiny bit of shard currency. They finally get to a point where our events that are, especially the good events, are worthy of playing, and they're giving rewards that are worthy of actually investing the time. So if you're one of those people that want Revan, but you're not going to get them, you can still gain a benefit. It's not a participation trophy. It's them heightening rewards regardless, because as a community, we've asked them to make all events worthwhile. I think every event should have rewards just like Revan's thing. Now, I know that that's not going to happen because they've kind of set the bar pretty low on most of the events on what we get, and to raise it on all of them is probably not going to happen. But the other alternative to what they did would be to put in trash rewards. Who is going to be happy about this event at any tier with trash rewards? That's just weird to even think like that. That's like, I'm going to be miserable, so let's the whole community be miserable. It's not a participation trophy. It's actual quality rewards that should be in every event. This just happens to be the one event that's in congruency with what the community desires.
Here.
Anybody else?
No, Warrior's right. I hate participation trophies, but that's not what this is. This is you earn the rewards.
Yep, you got the characters for the tier. Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. All right. RSG. See, next question. Back to the top with.
I didn't get my question.
Well, everyone, I did ask it, and you just didn't say anything, and Warrior and Felix took over. I'll give you another one. All right, RSG Vormax question for us and T Money. So T Money says, RSG Vormax says, "Good morning, all. Question: Does anyone at CG have?" Let's see. This is weirdly worded. Let me see if I can fix this. Has anyone at CG replied to the whole situation with "not my Revan thingy"?
I don't know. I don't think so. There was a couple of posts yesterday, and I think that was the first time that the silence was kind of broken over the last few days. Maybe some unofficial tweets and such, but I think that there's two posts, one by CG SB Crumb on what is that? That's the forums, and then the other one by Cap Gasp on the forums, and those are the two. They do have some information in them. It does say, sorry, I went back and checked, and it does say next week. It says, last but not least, we will be revealing the final details of Jedi Knight Revan's kit prior to the start of the event next week. So I don't know if there's been a comment on Jedi Revan versus Darth Revan.
All right. Next question. Okay, we're back at the top. Warrior. Sith Gorilla question. Even though we haven't seen Revan's kit yet, every legendary journey tune has been great. Is it safe to assume Revan will be great as well?
Yes, it's safe to assume that he's going to parallel the other two. CLS in his time was amazing. He's still great to this day. He has 3 Zetas. The other hero's journey is JTR. She's great. She has 3 Zetas, and she's still viable. So he's probably going to have 3 Zetas like the other 2 heroes' journey, and he's probably going to be great. Probably really amazing right now, and then he'll probably be over time like those other 2, where you'll want him in your roster and you'll need him for certain areas of the game, but maybe he's not going to be as overpowered as he is initially when he first comes out. So my guess is, regardless, he's going to be a good character if we go off of the past. But if the past leads credence to what we're going to have now, the other 2 had 3 Zetas, which would mean he would have 3 Zetas. And if that's true, I'm in trouble because I spent all my Zetas on Chewie.
Well, you have to farm better, Warrior. You're supposed to have 20 Zetas in the queue. Like
yeah,
completed.
But he needs 60 to be completed. So if that's the case, then I'm in trouble. I would be way short.
No, I don't mean just 20 like salvage mats. I mean you have 20 fully crafted Zetas ready to go at all time, Warrior.
Oh yeah, well, as a corporate CG shill, I do. I've got like 80 of them just sitting in my.
That's what I thought. So stop your whiny complaining pants.
Our fears have been confirmed.
Yeah, that's confirmed. That's science. Let's see here. Next question for King Felix. Let me find it. He keeps going up and up and up. Here we go. Kenneth Elizon. I hope I'm saying that name correct. Question: Are the 5 KOTOR tunes in game usable in any of the raids?
Yes. Bastila and Jolie are both amazing in the Heroic Sith. I have not played around with the other 3. I know some people were trying to put T3 in with JTR. I'm not sure if that ever made it into the Heroic Sith raid or not. But Bastila and Jolie was specifically designed for this Sith raid, and he is extremely good in it once you get him to 7 stars.
Okay. Next question for Team Money, eh? Blackbeard Premium. Question: how much better are the Geos in ships if they are Gear 12 versus Gear 11 for Arena?
It depends kind of what the ship is and what the purpose is. I have Maul at like Gear 9, and I'll use him in Arena from time to time, depending on how I'm climbing. But you're not going to put him out front on defense. So it's it depends what you're running for the bugs. I have my bugs at Gear 12 and my spy at Gear 11, and I wouldn't run them any lower than that. When I see them on Territory Wars defense at like Gear 9 and 10, I'm like, okay, really? Because they're already slow, so they're going to be slower, and they're already squishy, so they're going to be squishier. So it really depends on what tune it is. Some of the tunes that that you can see a big difference in, like Biggs. If you're starting with Biggs out front, a Gear 12 Biggs, all of a sudden becomes very, very tanky. A Gear 11 Biggs, my bugs can one shot, if they have advantage up. So, it depends on what ship you're talking about. The tanks, of course, are hardest to gear, but they're really pivotal in Arena. Houndstooth, if on offense, Houndstooth, you can kind of nuance it in at a pretty low gear level. I was using mine when my boss was like Gear 9, 10 at like 5-6 stars, but I wouldn't put them on defense with that. So
Geo's at Gear 12 versus 11.
Well, it depends on the ship.
But okay.
Geo.
Did he say? Oh, he said Geonotions specifically.
Yes.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah. So I answered that in there. So mine are gear. My Sunfac and my Soldier are Gear 12, and I think that you're not really going to hold. With that team, you want to come in and you want to just take out Soldier, and then you're done. They can't really do anything without Soldier in there. So having him a little bit more beefy is very useful. And then I have Spy at Gear 11, and he goes stealth the first time he gets hit. So unless you get target lock on him, he can kind of get around the fact that he's already squishy. So I do. It depends on your shard always. If anyone's saying you have to have this, you have to have this much speed on your this, you have to have this much gear on your that's silly. If you're a day one player and you happen to have the bugs, you're not going to need Gear 12 bugs in your fleet arena. I mean, you are going to need Gear 12 bugs if you've just started like 4 months ago and you have them. You're not going to have that. So it totally depends on your roster. You have to look at what's in your shard and how much you're falling.
All right. Next question for Warrior. Camille Bahalski question: can we get a shard, time, energy, and gear refund for solo tunes? Winky winky. That was from Camille Bahalski, by the way, Warrior.
I know. I feel bad. I feel bad because we were just talking about this. T-Money just said it's a guessing game that we kind of see patterns and we kind of have to go all in on something if we believe it to be right, so we're prepared. And I had put out a how to prepare for legendary tunes video, which was highly watched. One of the higher watched videos I've put out in the last 6 months. And a lot of people watched it and took my advice. And sadly, it was ill advice because I told everybody about, I thought the solo tunes would be next. And I almost think this is just my tinfoil hat moment, but I almost think that they saw my video and realized I probably had sway and went like, okay, well, everyone's going to focus on solo. Let's switch to just KOTOR and do it first. And, it feels that way, at least to me, because it's like, where was Solos' character's moment? Like they didn't really get one. I mean, they got this tiny little superficial event that was kind of okay, but it wasn't the same thing. It wasn't like introducing. So I was pretty disappointed in the patterns that we see, that they kind of shook it up a little. And of course I felt horrible that there was a lot of people out there going, yeah, Warrior says solo, so that's what we're doing. It just goes to show I am not being told about what's going on by them, because I went all in
Or
on those
maybe
solo
you
teams.
are, and you're misdirecting people.
Oh yeah, there's your
There's
tinfoil
always a way to
hat.
think
Yeah.
about it.
But anyway, I feel bad. I wish that there was a lot of people that could reverse course on their characters and get that gear back.
If we could turn back time. All right. Let's see here. Next question for King Felix from Gus989. Question: what is the best Bastila-led team with Chewie for the arena, especially for dealing with Traya?
With Chewie, I wouldn't put Chewie in there. For Bastila, you want Hermit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, Ezra, and either Thrawn or Nest, whichever one you have faster. If you have one of them modded faster, you want to put that in there, and that's your control piece for if you run into a Sith trooper, because you want to fracture or keep him with no taunt, and then you get Grandmaster Yoda to destroy Traya. I can do it usually in about 2 or 3 turns, and then it's all good from there. And without Traya, the Sith are absolutely worthless.
All right, there you go. And Chewie on the CLS-led Rebels team gobbles Traya teams up as well. God, the thing is so fast and hard, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he
Go ahead.
I was just saying, Chewie's a beast on that team, and especially if you mod your Luke, your CLS, to be the next lowest health, so he gets guarded as well.
Mm-hmm.
It destroys everything.
All right. Let's see here. Team Money A. Let's see here. Mr. Eden or Mirrodin? Oh, it's Mirrodin. Okay. Question for you, Team Money. Question: Revan is CG's way of trying to help Wales with Traya leads? Question mark. What a whale wants, what a whale needs, whatever makes him.
I think that whenever a new character is introduced, if it doesn't challenge the current meta, what's the point? Of course it's going to be some sort of counter. I mean, it's possible it could be an amazing raid tune, and it could be like, oh my gosh, if you get Revan, you can solo the Sith raid, or you can dominate in territory battles, probably it's a PvP focused character, especially given his history, as a leader and given his history as a character in the legends. But it's going to challenge the meta. Of course it is. Just like Chewie did. If Chewie wasn't able to take down Traya, then what would be the point of us all getting all fussy about Chewie so he could sit in the bottom of our roster every day? No, we want the option. It's like, it's still not a completely easy win, a gimme win, a win on defense, but you can mod your CLS and Chewie team to defend against Traya. And certainly I've gone in there and been like, a little red in the face, because it's like, damn it, that CLS team just took down my trail lead, and then, I see others in my guild, like, I can't get past this one CLS team. It's just modded really well. So you can mod your CLS team to do that. If we couldn't, it would be pretty disappointing, all the work that everybody got put into Chewie, and then gearing him and giving him a Zeta or two. And so there's no question in my mind, Revan is going to change the meta. It's going to, probably be another rock, paper, scissors thing, but who knows? I mean, I don't think at any point in time that, in my experience with the game, people have been completely kept out of top spot because they didn't have a particular pay-to-play tune. I could be wrong about that. I'm not a day one player. I started about a year after start. But
we'll fix that.
In my experience, since I've been at the top of arena, I've always been able to climb. There's been times where I'm like, oh, it's really difficult. I have to fight a team 2 or 3 times, but I've always been able to get to the top. So I don't know. One of the things that I want to calculate is how much extra money CG is getting through 50 crystal refreshes from people just having to be more competitive in arena. I think I personally spend 50 crystal refreshes to like, usually because I'm late to climb an arena, but it's it's those little microtransactions that this game is based upon, and so that's what, if you don't get Revan, my guess is that you're like, and you were used to getting top spot, you'll continue to be able to get top spot. You might have to battle a little harder. You might have to mod your tunes a little better. You might have to, be a little bit more strategic about it. But I don't think they're going to keep us out of the top spot. Maybe. I don't
know. No. So what Team Money's really saying is that she's Canadian and she cheats. So we're moving on to the next question for...
I don't cheat. I use loopholes vigorously.
Very nice lawyer answer. We all know that's right. All right, we've got back-to-back questions for you, Warrior, from Betts Gaming. So the first one for Betts Gaming is question for Warrior: what is the best discount team to take down a Bastila team in territory wars?
Well, so the question that was asked, I don't believe can be answered, because he said, what's the best discount team? Which would lead credence to me to be like a B team or a C team.
Right.
I don't believe there's a B or a C team out there that can take Bastila lead. There are like the 4 top meta teams in the game that are the 4 top meta defenses, Traya being one of them and Bastila being one of them. That is like one of the toughest teams to beat on offense, when you're on offense trying to go against another team. To this day, Team Instinct still uses Bastila lead on defense. There's a reason for that. So to take anything other than a OP meta team, I don't know. But I can tell you that you can take in a JTR team to beat it. You could take in a Traya team to beat it. There are certain Rebel teams that can go in and beat it. But you've really got to have some certain control pieces. For example, you could do a Thrawn lead Empire team, and when you fracture, you can then take out that singular tune after you fracture that character and then work through it. It is highly recommended that you fracture the lead and then take the lead out, and then if you don't complete the battle, you can go back in with another team that is maybe a subpar B team or something to finish it up. But that's a really tough team to beat regardless. And so, yeah, I would, Thrawn Empire team is probably the least meta of all the different possible counters, and you'll have that resiliency you need because you're going to get that regeneration of protection. And once you can fracture and kill one character, you'd be able to have someone like Death Trooper, Death Mark, another character. And the other thing is the characters that have a lower health, such as Ezra and Grandmaster Yoda, those make great targets after you complete to take out their tank. My guess is they'll run General Kenobi, and once the tank's gone, those 2 other characters are relatively easy to defeat. So yeah, I'm not sure there's a discount team that can be used.
Yeah, Night Sisters with Mother Talzin leads another solid one that can do it. But yeah, there's nothing past that you're going to have any chance with, brother. All right, next question for Warrior.
I was just going to say Night Sisters work, or they just, if you don't play slowly, that can go south very quickly. Because you can start losing characters before you even take another turn, and you could lose 3 or 4 characters in one turn before you get another turn. So you got to really be careful on Night Sisters. I've done it, but it is a balancing act with that team the whole time.
Yep. The other one from him for you, Warrior, is question for Warrior. Now that some time has passed, do you feel Ghost is best paired with Xenobar, XB, and HT as the starting ship? Thought Kylo might be solid as well for that.
Yeah, I still feel that way. each day for the last 2 weeks, I've been bumped a total massive of 1 time. And the people in the first 12 hours can't bump me. So I wake up after 14 hours and I'm still in the number 1 spot. And I get bumped to either 4th or 5th 1 time, and I have to do a single battle to regain my position. And the reason why it's better now than it was back then is because my characters weren't maxed at all. Nothing is. I mean, it still isn't. For example, my Ghost, I have no Zetas on that team. There's 3 Zetas to be had on that team, and I have none. I didn't have all the abilities maxed out. I still don't have all the abilities maxed. I need like another 75 ship Omegas to max these ships out. But I am getting some of the abilities finally to their high end, and I'm seeing the full potential of what I saw in the dev account. See, the video I made was out of the dev account with everything maxed. That included the other teams that I was going against being maxed, and a lot of these teams that we were going against in Arena were already maxed. The Geos were already maxed. So when I go in a subpar unmaxed team against Geos and they're able to beat me, people say, meh, team's not so good. But when you have a fully maxed team that you're going against, it totally and completely changes. And to lead credence to this, everybody on my leaderboard said, oh, your team's not that hard. We beat it. And in fact, the first couple of weeks, I dropped into the 20s. Like they were targeting me. As I developed this team out, I started dropping less and less. And now some of the people who said your team is stupid has switched to my team. And I don't drop out of the top 5. So, yeah, I believe concretely the team that I came up with, that WTF team, I do believe that is, to this day, the current best meta defensible team available for ships.
All right. Next question for you, King Felix. This is from Michael Longmead. There's 2 parts. It's a long question, so hang tight with me for a second. King Felix, is anyone else happy that this is light side Revan? I realize that dark side Revan is much more iconic. However, wouldn't it be likely that a dark side Revan would just be plugged into an existing trade teams and simply make them more oppressive? That couldn't be good for the health of the game, could it? Question mark? King Felix, what do you think?
So I see what you're saying, and you make some very good points. I believe his name was Michael.
That's what I said, right? Michael Longmead.
Yeah. It would. I mean, if let's just say you put in Revan and Darth Revan, he fit into the 5th slot, and it was fit in perfectly, and then no other team will ever beat the Sith team again. I get that. Be ready, because probably next year that's what's going to happen. Is probably going to be a dark side Revan, and you're just going to dust off this same exact team you're using right now and use dark side Revan to beat light side Revan, and maybe we'll have some other meta in the middle. But I wouldn't say so. And Ranger keeps saying this all week. It's not light side Revan and it's not dark side Revan that a lot of the player base wanted. It was just Revan, one who uses both the light and the dark, because he is both the light and the dark. That's what I think a lot of the backlash is for this. But I mean, light side Jedi Revan's going to change up the meta. That's always a good thing when the meta changes. It usually, when the meta has a big shift, there's usually this scramble. And when people don't know which way to go, that's when you'll see Rex again. Because when people don't know which way to go, Rex comes back. So you'll probably see that for a week before people figured out how to beat the new Jedi Revan team that's coming. But a lot of us just wanted Revan with no tag or with all the tags. But that's why the backlash is. Darth Revan is more iconic. That's why T-Money couldn't find a Jedi Revan picture for her stream.
Mm-hmm.
Had to make one out of.
That's right. I gave her a very hard time about it.
I didn't make one. I found one, but I don't. His lightsaber was green, right? Like the Jedi lightsaber was green, and this one was.
It was blue, and I was like, T-Money, what are you doing? And she's like, I don't know. Quit yelling at me.
Purple, isn't it? I think the CG one is purple.
I don't know. For the trailer, it was green.
Was it? No, he didn't. In the trailer, he didn't have his lightsaber. Never came on in the trailer.
Okay.
No, yeah. So we're still waiting for lightsaber color. Watch it be, friggin'.
I'm hoping for a nice pink.
Orange. It's gonna be orange.
Orange and pink.
Yeah, but that was what the backlash really was, and then people are angry about the timing of the event. But there's nothing really wrong with a Jedi Revan. He was a Jedi at one time. It's the same thing as why we have a farm boy Luke. It's just and making 3 characters out of 1 is just a way to get some money. So that's where the backlash is. I have no problem with a Jedi Revan coming out, but
his lightsaber's very purple. I want to call it pink, but I know that it's purple. It's supposed to be violet.
It's very violet. Yes,
it's very violet in the making of him.
Violet.
Yes.
And if people haven't seen that, go type into your search bar ea.com and then a space and then Revan, and it'll come up the making of Jedi Knight Revan. And you get to see like the renderings and the artists like working and just kind of how it's all done.
Really good post. I was a fan of that post.
I wish they would do it for every, because they could do it for every character. I wish they would do it. It's such a neat thing.
That was kudos to CG for that post. I liked it.
All right, let me get. If you guys have questions, go ahead and get them in. I don't know if this is a question or not, T-Money, but wait, what? I don't think this is a question. I think someone was just making a statement. Why are we all so fussy for Mirrodin? Good question. I don't know. Why are we all being fussy? I don't know what the context of that question is. I guess it must be in chat that they're talking about something, so that popped up. I think it was a little bit of tongue in cheek.
I don't feel fussy.
Well, just because they, chewy.
You want to hear some fussy? I can go get the kids real quick.
Let's not do that, because then T-Money's going to get her child, and then
baby fight.
Well, I don't think
baby fight.
Well, I don't think yours is a baby anymore, T-Money.
No, he's 7. So you could definitely. Sorry, I was gonna say take out the trash, but I pulled that back.
Sorry, I got a 3-year-old. She's mean, so we can have a fight still.
Right,
he's pretty nice to little kids, so
sweet.
You could probably take
that means we'll win.
Yeah.
All right, we've got another question in here, but it's for Warrior, so hang tight, T-Money. I'll get the next ones to you. Warrior from Sith Gorilla, specifically for you. For Warrior, the insults to your integrity have been utterly ridiculous. Can your ability to move past this nonsense be attributed to your military training?
No, it has to be attributed to having children. I'm married too, by the way. So being married, man, if you want to stay married for more than a few years, it's going to be a challenge. So, no, it's one of those funny things. Everyone in life is attacked in a different way. Some people have constant face of people in their life dying around them. Some other people have the poverty as their lifetime struggle. It's always one of those things. I've always held myself with the highest integrity with everything in my life, even at the fault of having to do something that I don't want to do, because integrity is the highest pinnacle of a human being, in my opinion. And it's what you do when nobody's looking. It's what you do when they're looking or without. And so you've got to just hold yourself to that high standard. Well, in my life, throughout my life, I have had my integrity attacked. And so it's one of those things that's my journey, and that's what I have to do. And the only way to be a warrior is to overcome those adversities in your life. And so while I address these at times, they're not getting under my skin. I'm calling them out because they deserve to hear what it is that how silly it is that they're doing and what it looks like. But I'm going to rise above that, just like I always do, because they're not going to get the best of me. I'm going to have a little fun with them back. What's funny is they can give a hard time, but when I give a hard time back, because that's my prerogative, they are the ones that get really, really, really thin-skinned about it and upset. And at the end of the day, you're going to sling it, I'll sling it back to have some fun. We'll have a little banter, but you're not going to get under my skin. I've dealt with far worse issues in my life. I mean, when I was a cop, I had 3 federal lawsuits against me that were totally and completely invalid, and I won all 3 of them overwhelmingly, unequivocally. But it's when your life has a certain journey, you're going to face certain, adversities over and over and over. And my integrity being called into question is one of those things, because I hold it in such high esteem. That's what's going to constantly be attacked in my life. So I'm not worried about the haters. They can hate all they want. I just find it disappointing that they come to my channel and leave stupid comments, or try to say on Reddit, this or that, because their points are all retarded. They don't even make logical sense most of the time. And so it gives me an opportunity to kind of have a little fun with them as well, but none of them can really handle it very well. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. The only thing I always push back on is just really ignorant stuff, right? Not, as I said, 99.9% of the stuff does not bother me at all either. But when I see just ignorant comments, I always push back. Like, no, you're not going to say that. I'm going to come after you a little bit because, if you're not going to be, it's one thing to have constructive conflict. It's another thing just to, when you have nothing to say, to attack someone personally, their character.
Well, the funniest part is I'll say something like, this, like in the video, I said, this is my opinion. This is going to be me being way oversimplistic. Like, I'm not going to be a data analyst here. I'm not the data analyst they are. I go through this whole preface before I make a talk. And then I talk, and then everybody goes on and goes, you're not their data analyst. You don't know. Did you even watch the video before you commented? You should probably do that because you look like an idiot. So
can't argue with stupid. You really can't. I mean, lesson for you boys. Lesson for you boys and girls out there. If you attack somebody's character because you have no other argument to make, logically or factually, then you lose.
Hey, these are people with IQ in the double digits, okay? They're really smart.
What you mean there, boy? I'm pretty smart myself. I ain't gonna take nothing that lip from you here. You
oh, goddamn shit, yeah. Right, goddamn Billy, we gotta get them smart people up there.
Speaking of smart people, let's get that Team Money in here. She reads good.
What's going on there?
Oh my God. Pirate Team Money makes an appearance.
She's like, I can't do the hillbilly voice, so let me pull out the pirate.
You're confusing me. Drop your gloves. It's a hockey reference for those of you in the States.
Team Money, they be not knowing what you be speaking of. All right, question for you, Team Money. We've got one from Dojo-san here. Question: Revan aside, Sith have been meta too long. What other factors would you like to see in the meta that we haven't seen or haven't seen in a while?
I hate to say it, but I really want to see the Geonosians.
Get out. Get out of here.
Just even that's actually how I, kind of became a little fangirl of good old Maurice. Is years ago, I was totally digging Geonosian Spy, and I was looking online, and finally I found his channel and his video where he made IG-88 lead with Poe and the bugs, and it was called Poe's Pest Control. And I watched this, I was like, yes, I knew it. Geonosian Spy could be the meta. And of course, good old Maurice he's like, oh no, I use that team to take down Treya every TW. You're like, oh, okay, that's you. But I would love to see the bugs get just good enough so they're a usable Territory Wars team, and so that if you're a weirdo like me, you can finagle them and theory craft them into Arena to be able to kind of be used in Arena. And we're close there. There was a Vader led team that had the bugs against Bastila, and Spy was coming in and knocking down Grandmaster Yoda for 100,000 K on his special with all those crazy buffs that Yoda gets. But it's not quite usable for a irregular human being like me. So I would love to see the Geonosians get a little rework, and lots of us have them now. Well, not lots, but more of us have them now that they're useful in fleet. So it would be nice to be able to use them Other than that, what faction? Yeah, I think that's it. Like an Empire. Empire would be nice to see Empire back in there. I think they need a couple of extra tunes to do that. We're all calling for Mud Trooper from from Solo to be in there. I don't know how OP Mud Trooper would be, but yeah, it would be nice to see a few more Empire tunes. Some of my favorite tunes are Empire. I love Tarkin. It'd be great to see him. Be great to have an excuse to gear Tarkin and Admiral Akbar, actually, both of those.
All right. Next question for King Felix here. Let me see. Mirrodin, question, King Felix. Question, Droid meta is coming. Name 3 characters that will have to be the base of that team.
I was unaware the Droid meta was coming.
I didn't know that either, but if it is, what
all
are the 3
Droid
characters?
fans are absolutely. This is their mantra. Droids are coming.
So what I will say is they seem to be getting a whole mess of pieces that don't fit together. So maybe a rework. Like, I don't know, if somebody threatened to delete, like if a popular YouTuber threatened to delete their channel, if some character that might be a droid doesn't get a rework, I don't know. They might get something. But they keep getting these support characters. They keep getting these random tanks or whatever it is that fit really well somewhere, but we don't know where yet. So a couple of leads might end up coming around. Don't forget, with the new Clone Wars series coming, they're going to get some Clone Wars content in here. So, but I'm going to have to guess. I'm going to guess Grievous, IPD, and probably L3 are going to be your base 3 for the droids. Because I don't think they're going to be meta until Grievous gets a rework and becomes what he's supposed to be.
Right.
There's really no other leader. Like, the best droid leader you have is Rey, JTR. And I don't know if you know this, but she's not a droid.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive that she's not a droid. I remember watching the movies, and she didn't seem she didn't seem very droidish to me. I don't know.
Although maybe she'll get her hand cut off in the next movie and she'll be part droid.
Oh, God, I hope not. Let's see here. Next question. Well, what else? 73 says, question for Warrior. What should Warrior's new channel song be My Prerogative after that speech? You rock, Warrior.
Thing about me is I am a forward individual. I don't hide or shy away from confrontation. I don't try to be an overt jerk about anything, but I also I don't shy away from anything. I have very forward conversations with everyone in my life. It does make most people pretty uncomfortable, but I like to just not have things fester and be hidden. I like to just dish it out and be straightforward. And at least people know an apple's an apple with me, right? They just know it is what it is. This is how he feels. This is how he thinks. And I wish that the rest of the world was this way as well, but it's just a personality difference is all.
All these people talking all this shit about him.
Let me know.
I'm surprised nobody brought up the whole meme thing after Revan. There was a bunch of memes, but then
I wanted to.
Mobile Gamers Trip, man. The amount of memes that came out of that is what the hell? Like, if I could be a little bit of a laughing stock for a while, that's okay. What's cool about that is I have thick skin. It's all good. I can take being the butt of a joke. I feel like you can't make fun of other people if you can't make fun of yourself. Right. So the fact that people are having fun with it and laughing their tails off, I actually laughed hard at the GameChangersOnly.com. All I could think of, GameChangersOnly.com. You know, like the whole jingle in my head, and it was hysterical. And they picked the perfect moment where I'm like, looking at him with admiration, and he's like giggling, and it's terrible. It's absolute terrible timing on that picture for sure. And then he says the peanuts, you know, because I had peanut in the
I saw.
He said the penis is necessary, but he said the peanuts, but it sounds like he says the penis is necessary. And then, of course, there's that analysis that gets cut from analysis to anal, and says he gets Revan by doing anal. I don't know. It was just the funniest thing I've seen in a while, and I was just glad that I could be a little bit of some comic relief for the community.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
All right.
And I think if I can just add to that, it's I think that this is we're a pretty small community, like even our Warrior, how many subs do you have? You're like 40, 50,000 subs now?
Over 9,000?
No, I'm at 37 on the main channel and like $3,000 on the alt, so I'm at like 40,000 between both channels.
And I think your top 5 channel, Arnold is like 70 or 80. Like that's not a lot. Like some of these games, like Fortnite, have like 1 million subscribers. Like there's just these huge, massive channels. Like, if someone new shows up to our channel, like, ooh, who's Darth, Angel Fuzz, and so like it's a small community. I don't know why it is, because millions of people play this game. It's like the second biggest mobile game ever, but we're a small community, and so it's you have to have thick skin in order to be up here out in front of everyone and saying that stuff. Absolutely. And like you just have to, you have to kind of eat that. And at the same time, it's an opportunity to be like, yeah, here's Warrior on Facebook, answering all of these comments and questions. It's like, we're all people in this game, and it's one of those. It's a community that I think is pretty good at not using that internet anonymity to like vengefully attack each other. I think we're pretty good at that. There's been like some Reddit comments lately, and I made this post that used a stupid word, and somebody was like, screw you, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm gonna change that word. And then
was it maple syrup?
It was maple syrup, and anyway, but my point is that it's an opportunity here. This community is an opportunity to treat each other well and to respect each other's opinions, and that, as people who decide to put ourselves out in the spotlight, we kind of have to eat some of that too. And thank you, Warrior, for bringing joy to the community this week, because that was it wasn't anything personal to you guys, but it was pretty cute.
Everything Team Money just said is true, except for the Canadians. Don't trust the Canadians.
Don't trust the Canadians. I think that I have given you guys plenty of opportunity to see that is truth.
They eat too much maple syrup and are too nice. I can't trust somebody that nice. And they're pirates, too. Let's see. Next question for you, T Money. This is from Eric H. T Money. How many crystals do I need to save up for the next Luke event? I had 20k saved this time, and I'll be cutting it close.
For the next Luke event?
That's the question.
So for free to play. So I've been talking, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and I'm expecting a lot of unsubscribes to my channel on Tuesday, because I've been hunting for free to play players who are getting Revan, because I'm fascinated with them. I can save up, like, if I get to 2,000 crystals, I place first. I can, sometimes I'm lazy and I don't, but I can place first in both arenas every day. And if I get to 2,600 crystals, I'm like, yes, just like, hooray for me. These folks who are doing this free to play, there's a whole bunch of very common themes to their approach to the game. And one of them is that they hoard. And I've talked to 5 different players who are getting Revan, and all but one hoarded between 20,000 and 35,000 crystals. And one, just started hoarding when Bastila came out. They're like, 63 days. That's, an opportunity to save 58,000 crystals, because you only need to spend 50 to get your blah, blah. They don't know the math, right? So so that's what we're doing on our next live stream, and I'm expecting a lot of hate mail. I'm not saying that people can get Revan free to play now. It's too late. Let's let that go. However, I'm going to take on that challenge, and I'm going to start trying to save my crystals and behave like that, because not only are these guys behaving like that in the game, they behave like that in their lives too. These are the kind of folks who are like, oh no, I would never allow a credit card company to charge me interest. Like, oh, tell me more. It's just not me. And this game has me in a tight hold because of that, because of my spending habits. So I'm hoping it's probably a bad time to, launch something like that. I think it's going to be quite controversial, but I'm hoping that we can all learn from these guys. And so, yes, when the next event comes and you need to, what's next? Is it Darth Revan? Are we going to be behind the 8 ball again for that? But if you have this cushion, if you have this little savings, they're just like, meh. And these are people who have Nest at 7 stars, have Bastila at 7 stars, who got Bosk, who got Chewie, who have the solo tunes, maybe not to the final tier, but to like the tier before the final tier. Like, they've got a bunch of stuff. So anyway, they're playing the game better than I'm playing the game, and I want to learn from them. And so when I want to learn from somebody, everybody else has to listen to that. So
That's wrong.
So
we're ignoring
that's
that.
a question I can. That's a question that I can ask them anyway on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. All right. What the hell? God dang it, Nightbot. Really? Hold on a second. It's fighting me, but I will win, for I am smarter. Next question for... Let's see here.
Did we lose King Felix? I saw him get disconnected.
Who?
He's back.
Question for Warrior from Anand Srivansan. Serene-Nabasan. I can't see your last name. I apologize. Warrior question. I am free to play, and I'm running Bastila Jedi in Arena. Any advice on if I should long farm for Revan? Could he change the time? Change the tide. Blah, 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 blah.
So Revan's one of those characters that you're going to want to put into your farming process and get those characters, but I would say not before you get the other characters that are already been introduced into the game. So it's kind of one of those stay on target type situations. If you can't get him this time around, 6 months is quite a bit of time, and that's probably how long it'll take for him to come back around. Make sure you have Thrawn. Make sure you have Emperor Palpatine, Yoda. Make sure you have CLS, JTR. Those types of characters first, because those are known entities. You know exactly which characters you need. You know exactly how far you have to take those characters to unlock and get those characters to 7 stars. Get those characters first, and then if you've done all of that, the next logical conclusion is obviously to start focusing on Chewie and on Revan. Chewie is actually one of those characters you might be able to focus on a little earlier, because some of the characters a lot of people farm right away due to the credit heist and stuff, but the difficulty of that particular event happens to be one of the most difficult events out. So that's why I say it's more in-game. Chewie's amazing, but if you can get those characters and get him to at least 5 or 6 stars, you'll be able to use him in arena and things like that. But he's definitely more of an in-game guy. You want to make sure you kind of go through a logical progression. And he should be on your radar. You shouldn't ignore him and say, "Well, I don't have him, so by the time I get him in 6 months, he'll be trash." It's like, no, JTR is still used, and so are the other characters, that are out. So
that's science. Let's see if there's any more questions, because I think we've gotten to. Well, there's one here, kind of a funny one. Dana DeBroy says, King Felix, JTR isn't a droid. Explain the forehead, please.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, that's what there's, science.
That explains a lot.
It does not explain anything. That's awful. God.
She's our second Force-sensitive droid.
What was the first one, T-Money?
Skippy.
Who?
Skippy, the Force-sensitive droid. Haven't you heard? That's like a little I don't know, maybe it's fan fiction, but it's the the droid that blew up when they were all in the lineup and they were being picked on Tatooine, R2 and C-3PO. There's a theory, not a theory. There's like a little story around him being Skippy, the Force sensitive droid, and Skippy actually knew, like he sensed that C-3PO and R2 had to go with Luke, and so he like willingly sacrificed himself so that they would be able to be chosen and to go. And then there's like this whole story around Skippy. If you Google him, there's like this whole story around Skippy the Force sensitive droid online, like comics and stuff.
Thought it was because he had a bad motivator. I don't know.
He chose to have a bad motivator.
Okay, yeah, that's that has nothing to do with the Force. Let's see here. Joyson, question Warrior, do you think your pillar order will change with all these new characters?
No, but there will be a few substitutions that are made. For example, First Order Executioner is obviously in there now because he's free to play farmable and he can replace Phasma, who was in there and stuff. So there's some substitutions like that. Obviously, there's going to be some new bounty hunters in Phase 1 that you can focus on a little earlier and some new side projects. But all in all, everything will be basically very, very similar to what it is now. The only thing that's not in the pillar system really right now are the Old Republic characters, and they're now that two of them are farmable in two very reasonable locations. I could see those characters being substituted in for other Jedi in the 4-pillar system, and then as an in-game thing, the other characters being side projects in Pillar 4, so you can get, Revan by Pillar 4. But I'm going to have to completely reassess it, and the fact that they said they're going to bring out, tons of like legendary and hero journeys over the last, over the next 6 months, and that was a few months back. We've seen, a couple, so there's probably a few more to come. I think we should probably kind of let the new year come, and then I'll reassess it like I do every year in January, and hopefully have a more astute pillar. But for anybody who's wanting those substitutions and things like that now, there's a Discord channel. There's an entire, community of 5,000 plus people that are dedicated to the pillar system I created, and they have the Excel spreadsheet and everything like that. If you go to my last video on that about a month ago, where I interview the guy who built the Discord chat and the community, actually, in his Excel spreadsheet, he's constantly making new spreadsheets to help people out. It has the ability to make modifications and substitutions already. So if you want to talk to people on their substitutions and whatnot, that community is for you for sure. And that stuff's in the link in the description of that video.
There you go. Very nice. Let's see if there's any more questions. No, there's no more questions. Not that we haven't answered an astronomical ton of questions today.
No fun questions today?
Well, if they didn't put question there, I didn't catch it. I mean, not really. No. We did get the prerogative and all that kind of stuff, so yeah. Let me look here.
You said doo-doo.
You said poop. Nope, that's all the questions for today. So, we'll wrap things up a little bit earlier than we normally do. We usually go to about 12, but we've only answered I don't know, 9, damn near 40 questions already. So, you guys are on it like a blue bonnet. I really were. So we'll take a moment here and let everybody pimp their stuff. We will start with you, Warrior. Where can folks check out you on the YouTubes?
I've got 2 channels. I've got the Warriors Roster Reviews channel. It's a little smaller. Put out content, few videos a week, about 2 or 3. Normally about 2 every week, and they're pretty pointed videos that give really specific advice for people in a specific journey, but there's always something to glean out of there. I always tend to spill the beans on a little bit here and there of strategy and technique and things like that in those videos. So those are actually gems. And then on my main channel, I tend to do more, mainstream type videos of what's happening in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And I try to put out at least 2 or 3 videos a week on that channel, sometimes more, sometimes less. But check me out there. I'm also on Twitter at Warrior Present, and I'm on Facebook as well as Reddit as well.
All right, very nice. Team Money, eh? Where can folks check you out there up in Canada, eh?
Yes, indeed. Good old Maurice and I have a channel together called Operation Metaverse. We stream Tuesday nights at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Trying to make that like an action-packed hour and 15 minutes of news, and the intention is to have like a meta-changing team that we showcase. Hopefully, one of our own. Sometimes one from the community every week. We're very PvP focused. In the last 5 months since we started the channel, we've released 6 Traya killers, and 4 of them have been original ours, and 2 of them have been gifted to us by our friends within the community. And so this is a bold statement because we don't know how he's going to impact the game, and if it is possible. But our new mantra is, if you don't get Revan, we got you. We're going to be very dedicated to creating, continuing to create Territory Wars teams, Traya counters, and also Revan counters. So it's going to be our focus, and our that's really what we love about the game is PvP and taking down common teams with uncommon teams. So yeah, that's us weekly and for the next who knows how long months.
That's right. And I think also good old Maurice does the Sunday night stream with Revan.
He does. Yes, he does. Sunday nights. It's like, I like to say it's 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but it's really because they're on the East Coast, 12:30 a.m. On Monday. And they have a great show. I watch their show every week. They go through the meta report. They do a top 5 list. It's a nice tight little show that just kind of brings you up to speed on everything. And Ramon often uses the test account on there, and it's a lot of fun.
If you didn't get a chance, some of the other people that are usually on here, check out their channels. Jedi Adasher has a channel, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of Jedi stuff on there, obviously. So if you haven't checked out her channel, please do. I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Really, everyone needs to go and subscribe to her channel right now, because
unless you're a Sith,
like with the Jedi Uprising, she's in my guild. She is such a great player. She gets like top 3 in all the raids, even with all of the amazing raiders we have. Like, she is one of the top players in the game. And with this Jedi thing coming, like, you're going to want to be on her channel, and you're going to want to see what she's coming up with. Already she takes down the meta with all these weird Jedi teams. So yeah, go and sub her channel.
All right. I'm trying to think else. I think that's everybody that's got the YouTubes. All right, so if you're watching this, then you're watching this on Reality Skewed Gamers. We do this show every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern to roughly about 12 when we get done. Sometimes we go a little bit over, sometimes we'll stop a little early today. But this is where we bring the best and the brightest of game changers and YouTubers together. So make sure you check it out. And not just our videos, guys. Check out all these channels. Make sure you give them thumbs ups on their videos. Subscribe if you haven't. It really does help them with putting out content. They take the time out of their busy schedule to be here to answer your questions and help you out with the game. And it's just, they don't ask for much in return other than just supporting them in their endeavors. And someone's attacking a roach or pounding on a pavement. I don't know what the hell that noise was. So if I don't know what the hell that was. It was a boom, 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 boom. It's like, Jesus, someone's getting kung fu fighting going on down there. So do the same thing for us. We do a lot of Star Wars Galaxy Hero stuff Monday through Friday. We do the lunch stream from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern. We do roster reviews. We answer your questions. Wednesday night we cover the latest and greatest of news and notes from Star Wars Galaxy Heroes and give you a little bit of insight of what it all means. Sometimes I go cray-cray and rant at CG, and sometimes I give them hugs and say good job. So you never know what's going to happen. We have other games you can check out that we've been working on the channel. If you haven't checked it out already, we are a couple announcements for our charity run that we're going to be doing. We're going to be running a half marathon down in Orlando to raise money for the American Cancer Society. We have a GoFundMe up there right now. If you'd like to go check that out and help us with that, please go check out our GoFundMe. Also, on the 20th of October, we are going to be doing, which should be next Saturday, we are going to be doing a mega stream like we did before, and to help raise money to get all that taken care of. What is that noise? T-Money, are you fighting a bear?
I'm sorry. I'm gently putting my phone down on the desk, and it must be like reverberating my mic. I will mute myself.
Oh, you're fine. No, you're fine. I just wondered what it was. I thought maybe you were fighting a bear or, a mountain lion. I don't know. But so, yeah, if you be on the lookout for that next Saturday. So, yeah, I think that covers all the stuff like that. If we didn't get to any of your questions today, just put them in our Discord. The Discord is linked below as well. Great group of community of thousands of people in there. And if you'd like to have your question answered on the next Jedi Academy, just put it in there. We will scoop it up for next time. So, on behalf of myself and the panel, thank you guys for stopping in. We really appreciate it. And you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And we will see you tomorrow. We got D&D. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. But we will see you when we stream live again. So subscribe and you'll know when that's happening. Take care. Everyone have a great day. And we'll holler at you later.